All right. Well, I'm Greg Mercer. I guess a couple people mentioned Jungle Scout so far. I didn't think anyone here would have heard of it, so that was a pleasant surprise. And today I'm going to talk about choosing products that actually sell well on Amazon, okay? So my whole speech is just directed for those of you who want to sell on Amazon and how to choose which products are good to do so. So I used to be an engineer just a few years ago, a civil engineer, worked a corporate, typical 9-to-5 job, didn't like it very much, got into selling on Amazon, and that was kind of my ticket out of there. So I still run my Amazon business as well. That kind of led into software. I started Jungle Scout just about 1.5 years ago, and now I devote most of my efforts to the software side of the business. I am a digital nomad, which is just a fancy term for saying I'm homeless. I don't have a home. My wife and I, who's out in the crowd, we just kind of travel around. Right now I live in Hong Kong, and I'll be in Barcelona next week. It looks like this question's been asked like 4 times today, so I'm not going to make you raise your hands again unless you really want. But it seems like a good portion of our crowd's already selling on Amazon, which is cool. So I guess I can direct some of this then towards choosing more products or continuing to grow your business and so forth. So let's talk about why does Amazon rock? Why a few years ago none of us would have probably been in here saying we want to sell on Amazon and so forth. And there's a reason it's grown so much so quickly, and that really is because it's awesome. All right, it has a low barrier of entry. Any normal guy like me or you or anyone can get into it and start selling on Amazon. It's incredibly powerful. There's shoppers. If I'm going to YouTube, I'm there like watching cat videos, right? If I'm going to Google, maybe I'm searching for how to change the oil filter on my car. But if I'm going to Amazon, my credit card's saved in there. I'm in the mindset I'm ready to buy something. So we want to put our products where these buyers are, where the people are that are trying to spend their money. So, it's easy for us sellers to use. The fees are reasonable. There's fulfillment by Amazon, which I think everyone knows what that is, but essentially they take care of all the grunt work for us, right? We're not out in our warehouse or in our garage picking and packing and shipping boxes. Amazon's going to take care of all that for us, including a lot of the customer service and so forth. So it's an awesome platform. I can't say enough good things about it. I have a lot of friends and family, and even myself sometimes I'm guilty of this, and they'll say, I saw this product. I saw this product, or I know the best idea, right? And maybe it's a slinky chair, or maybe it's something else, and you just know this is going to be the best product in the whole world, and you're going to be a millionaire. The truth is, most of these product ideas are not very good. I hate to break it to you, but I want to be the one to tell you. Coming from an engineering background, I'm like a data-driven guy. I like to see what's actually, selling well, which products are actually doing well. Not, personally, I don't like to go off my gut feeling on what I think is going to be a cool product. Like, this slinky chair, it looks pretty awesome, but I don't think there's people already searching on Amazon for this, right? So, that being said, what do we look for? How do we know what is a good product and what we should be selling? So what I look for existing demand on these products. So again, I'm not going with my gut feeling. I want to see what people are already searching for and shopping for on Amazon. So I already know that hundreds of thousands of people are going into Amazon every day, typing this in the search bar, and they want to buy this already. Okay, so those are the products personally that I look for and that I would recommend you guys sell for. That being said, there's a lot of products on Amazon that get tons of sales every day, but they're too competitive. It's hard if we're getting in this today to get into some of these niches because they are hyper competitive. So just a few of the other little things. I'm not going to touch on supplier selection and all that because there's a lot of people here that are way more qualified than I am. But as a general rule of thumb, like smaller and lighter weight and simpler items are going to be a little bit easier on you. The fulfillment fees at Amazon are cheaper. You don't have this, if it's a brand new account, you don't have like the 500 unit maximum for oversized type products. So those are things to keep in mind. And of course, we're going to stay away from like patented items, unlicensed products and so forth. So a few months ago, I think I started this in October or November or something, at Jungle Scout we did a case study where we publicly sourced and launched a product, and we're donating all of the proceeds from it to charity. And it's been a really cool case study that I think a lot of people have learned a lot from. So we chose marshmallow sticks. You see them up there. We titled them Jungle Sticks. And they're doing pretty darn good. So I took this snapshot yesterday, which is the same day I did this whole presentation, but don't tell Peter. And as you can see, the last 30-day sales, over $15,000 in sales, 784 units sold. I think like we're making $5.45 profit per item, so over $4,000 a month, which is pretty sweet, right? I mean, I think most people in this room would agree that's pretty nice profit for one item. That's like how much I used to make at a full-time job. And you know, if you get a bunch of these products, it can add up to some pretty serious money. So, which makes us think, you know, so how do we mimic this? How do we replicate it? How do we all find products that, you know, Captain Obvious here can just make it rain with, right? So I really recommend doing research ahead of time before at these trade shows. So I remember the first time I went to a trade show, you know, you go there and you're just like starry-eyed and there's just tons and tons of products, right? And then again, you have that gut feeling like, oh man, this is gonna be the best product ever. Like, I'm gonna kill it with this one. And I think it's tough if you just go to these trade shows looking for ideas. So I actually recommend that you do your product research ahead of time. You come up with some ideas, and then you can start approaching you know, different factories or suppliers with a list of existing ideas. So some of the criteria that I personally look for, this is the same thing we use for the Jungle Sticks, this is the same thing that I use for all of my products. I found it works really well for me, and I think it would for you, is I look for 3,000 units per month of existing demand on Amazon. So this means, you know, we're not creating a new niche, right? Like, I'm not talking about coming up with a new invention here. This demand already exists on Amazon. There's already this many people every month already purchasing this product off Amazon. We just want to capture some of that, right? So when I say existing demand, I'd be adding up the sales of the maybe like first page results on Amazon. So if I search for bamboo marshmallow sticks, I would add up all of the units sold on a monthly basis for all those sellers, and I want that to equal about 3,000. That's the personal rule of thumb I came up with, and I found if that's the case, and it's not too competitive, I should be able to sell 10 a day or 300 a month, which is about 10% of that 3,000, and that's what I personally shoot for, is all my products I want to sell at least 10 a day. So okay, that criteria is not too hard. There's plenty of niches and product types that have that much demand, but you know, a lot of these are too competitive, right? So for instance, if I go in there, I search for garlic press, or I search for yoga mat, or whatever, yeah, there's going to be, or you know, some of these supplements, there's going to be way more than the 3,000 units a month, but these are very mature, competitive niches. So, and the easiest way to determine this is how many reviews the top sellers have. So if I were to search for marshmallow sticks, and you know, the top 10 sellers all had like 1,000, 500, 800, 600 reviews. This is, you know, this signifies a very mature and competitive niche. If I were to do the same search, and I'm seeing, you know, in the top 5 sellers that maybe 2 or 3 listings have like under 50 reviews, you know, in the top 10, maybe I'm seeing like 5 sellers have under 50 reviews. To me, that signifies that it's not a very competitive, mature niche, and something that we could easily enter. So we're looking for like these Goldilocks products, right, that have plenty of demand but aren't too competitive. And they represent an overall low percentage of all the products on Amazon. But the good news is there's hundreds of millions of products on Amazon. So even if only 1% meet these, you know, Goldilocks standards, it's still a lot of opportunities for us, right? So I guess at least 1 or 2 of you have heard of Jungle Scout, maybe more. Anyone used it before? All right, very cool. So when I was originally kind of writing this presentation, I'm not the type to try to like sell anything. I think it's pretty lame. So like I started with doing all the product research without using Jungle Scout, and the truth of it is it's pretty terribly time consuming. So I am just going to talk about I'm going to give some tips to do it without Jungle Scout, but I'm also going to show you kind of how to do it with Jungle Scout. And then if you don't have it, just sign up for a free trial and cancel. So you don't get charged, so you can't say I'm trying to sell you anything. So this is one of our products. This is the Jungle Scout web-based app, all right? And what we've done with this is we've kind of rebuilt Amazon's catalog in a way that's user-friendly for us sellers to search through, right? So if I go to Amazon.com, they're probably the best in the whole world at selling items to consumers, right? I'm sure they've split tested every little color and line and placement and everything on their entire site. I know every time I go there, I'm looking for one thing. I end up having 4 things in my checkout, in my cart by the time I'm gone. Like, they're really good at that. But it's not designed for us sellers to look for product ideas. I can't go to Amazon and say, like, hey, only show me the products that sell really well. They don't have any competition, right? They don't have the filters for that. It's not built for that. So we've kind of essentially built a new user interface for their catalog that is user-friendly for us sellers to search through. So what I would do if I was doing some product research before the trade show tomorrow or next week or next year or whatever, I could, with this, look at some of the categories I'd be interested in. So, say tomorrow you're looking for electronics type stuff, mobile accessories, whatever. You could check that little category box. I could look in a certain price range. So I'd say, okay, I personally prefer higher dollar items just because there's a lot more room for margins there. So I like to sell, everything I sell tries to be over like $20 or $25 as a minimum price. So you can add in, your price filters there. You can put in how many sales each of these items have a month. So I might say, okay, I want something that is at least $25. It sells at least 300 units a month. And then I might also say, and show me all the items that have under 50 reviews, okay? So now I'm seeing items that are selling well, even though it's a young listing. So this could potentially be a good opportunity for me. There's a few other things you can search for, like the weight, the rating, the number of sellers, how good the listing is, and so forth. So you can kind of play around with this to come up with ideas and kind of explore niches and products that you otherwise wouldn't think of, and you'll be really surprised, of the products that you see on there. It's just like amazing how vast their catalog is, and like how many just like weird, strange products there are that you would never think of, but are really good opportunities. So, another little tool of when I do my product research. So, I might be searching in the product database or not. Maybe you just have an idea, right? Like the glass Mentos jars or whatever. So I can search for this product on Amazon. And remember, I want to try to find something that has this existing demand of about 3,000 units total, yet isn't too competitive. So if I were to do that, I could search that on Amazon, and I can actually look at the listings. Right away, I can see how many reviews they have. So that's pretty easy. Also, with the Jungle Scout extension, it will show me how many sales each of these listings have each month. So, and it's just an estimate. We estimate it based off the best sellers rank, but it's pretty darn close. It gets you in the ballpark of how many units are being sold. So that's a good way to explore a niche or an idea if you have one. All right, so attempt for proper planning. So like I said, I prefer to go to these trade shows with a list of ideas that I would like to search for or source. Without doing it, I found it's really hard, and I end up wasting too much time talking to suppliers that either there's not enough existing demand for these items or they're too competitive and so forth. So, I'd recommend to do a little bit of proper planning ahead of time. But just like this guy who, tried to plan out this like beautiful proposal, I know you're going to get to the show tomorrow when you're walking or whatever, and you're going to see something that, again, you just know, right, this is going to be the best product ever. And maybe it will every once in a while. If you want to do that, you can get your phone out and find the best sellers rank on the Amazon listing. So right away, I could just go to the Amazon listing. Maybe I see, again, this glass little cup. I'd search for it on Amazon, find the top listing, get the best sellers rank. I can then go to junglescout.com/estimator. This is totally free, no email or any of that, just free for everyone. You can enter the sales rank, and it'll tell you about how many sales it has on a monthly basis. So this is a tool y'all can always use while you're walking the floor or whatever else, and get a little glimpse of how well some of these products sell. The other ones I talked about, they would work on like a tablet or a laptop, but most of us probably aren't going to be carrying those around on the showroom floor. So one of the strategies I really like now, I think we kind of touched on like competition a little bit earlier, is to improve on existing products. And this is actually what I'm doing a lot now, all right? So this is really cool because just probably like 5 or 10 years ago, these large corporations would probably spend, I have no idea how much money, tens of thousands of dollars doing product and market research to see, what do our buyers like about our items, what don't they like about our items, how can we improve them, and so forth. And now we can do that on Amazon, in a few minutes. What used to cost tens of thousands of dollars and like whole teams or whatever. So I can find products on Amazon that are selling well, yet have poor reviews, and to me, that's like a golden opportunity. So, I found these furry handcuffs. They, as you can see, they have average of 2 out of 5 stars, which is terrible, right? This is a horrible review. I would never buy anything under like 4 stars on Amazon, yet it's still selling well, which to me means, okay, people want this product even though it's terribly ranked. So I would then go to the reviews. I click the little 1-star review, read what kind of bad reviews there are, and see if any of those things could be improved. And it turns out with this one, I think the chain's breaking, maybe, so I can replace a plastic chain with a metal one and so forth. Anyway, you can use your imagination on how you would want to improve it. I don't know. But these are, so I'm not talking about like reinventing an entire product, right? I'm not coming up with brand new handcuffs. I'm making small improvements. So for instance, one of my best-selling products right now had plastic buckles on it that were breaking, and everyone was complaining about it. The best competitor, I think, had like an average of 3-star reviews. So I replaced these plastic buckles with metal buckles, and now I'm charging a premium. He's charging like $19.99. I'm charging like $35.95, and I outsell him like crazy. My average review ranking is like 4.5 stars, and yeah, it's it's doing really good. Omar and I are working on a product right now that it was getting complaints that the cushions were like too hard, that it wasn't comfortable to sit in. So we're working with the factories to get either some thicker cushions or some different material or so forth. Sometimes I think other ones we were reading, the material was tearing. So maybe instead of this plastic material, I'm going to use like a fake leather or maybe a real leather or something along those lines. So I'm not talking about creating a whole new product. I'm talking about very small improvements that all of a sudden you're getting the good reviews on Amazon, whereas your competitors aren't, and you're going to start selling a lot more because of it, and you can probably charge a premium. All right, so that's about it. If you want to get in contact with me, the best way is to tweet me at Mercer_Greg. You can email me at greg@junglescout, but I do have to warn you, I have quite the backlog of unread emails, so if you want to get a hold of me quick, that's the best place to do it. Like I said, I'm the founder of Jungle Scout. We have another tool called Review Kick to get product reviews on Amazon. Check them out if you haven't already. And yeah, other than that, I just want to answer some of the questions you guys have.